Welcome to the MechWorks PDM quick introduction to workflows that mandate multiple users' approval. In other words, parallel workflow acceptance. My name is Glenn, and I'll be your presenter today. So with the MechWorks PDM for a parallel workflow, it uses the group review workflow state. This allows each user to individually, when they have the time, to approve or reject the specific workflow state without waiting for any other of the individuals that need to sign off on that same workflow state. Also with the MechWorks PDM, you could have, say, a group meeting where all the parties that are required to sign off on the documents at this stage of the workflow could all sign on to the one computer collectively, so each workflow is then addressed and discussed as a group in that meeting. Let's actually get into the MechWorks PDM and take a look at what we're talking about today. Here the user has the MechWorks PDM browser open, and it's integrated with a 3D CAD system. And the document we're going to look at today is this one here. And you can see that it's already in the engineering change process because it has this EC visual cue here, and it's already in a workflow, which is designated by this red X here, which is showing this is in a workflow, and as such cannot be life cycled until it's finished or rejected out. And if the user goes to the EC tab here and we look at this initial release here, it's going to provide the user with the IR data form. And if we select edit, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail today on the engineering change process as it has its own webinar. But if we go to the workflow here, we can see where it has this first state, which if we look at it, has just the one decision maker. We go to the group meeting state here and we look at the decision makers. It has the three different people from different departments. That is the parallel part of this workflow. Just like any of the workflows with the MechWorks PDM in any one of these states, the person reviewing could reject it out of the workflow and terminate it, place it on a hold. This placing on a manual hold is showing everybody that you're looking up some information and you have a reason why you haven't moved it forward or rejected it, but you are looking at it. And what we're going to do is just approve it from the manufacturing state to the quality group meeting state. And at this quality group meeting state, as we already saw, there are three departments that need to look at this document and approve it or reject it. There are two ways that this can be handled, two modes. The first one would be first come, first serve of the three departments or people that need to sign off on this document within this state. Could be a first come, first serve. So if they have time to stop what they're doing, go in here, take a look at it, they could look at it, sign off, approve it, and then the other people in that group could come and sign on when they have the time. Another way of doing it is collectively all of the members of the group meeting, which would be all the parties involved in signing this off, would have a design review meeting, say, all go into the one room, log on to the one computer, look at it as a collective group, and approve or reject the documents as they need to. So what we'll do here is we'll close this, and we'll go over to the group review, and what we'll do is we'll sign on for one of these, and let's sign on this person, enter their password, and now you can see the standards group person has signed on. So we'll close this, go back to the EC tab, back to the IR document, and we'll make this editable, and here's the workflow. So now Bill could go in here and approve this or reject it. Now remember, the rejection is the same as what we talked about. And if Bill was to reject this from this group meeting state, then it would go either back or out of the workflow, and none of the other group would look at this until it came back to that group again. But what we're going to do here is we're going to approve it. And what it's going to let the users know is that it still needs the signatures from the material handling group and from the process control group, because Bill went ahead and did this in his own time on his own. Now, let's look at it in another way, whereas you're going to have a group meeting. So let's close this again, and everybody would go to the engineering change meeting and come along and sign on to the same computer. So this one would be, and Tom would enter his password, and then the process control would come along to the same computer and log in, enter her password. And so now everybody's signed in, and we can close this, go back to the EC tab, back to the actual IR form, make it editable. And now as a group, what they could do is look at this document. So for instance, they could even go in here, open the file, and here's the document. They could check the dimensions, check the title block. All the relevant information is on this document that needs to be there. They could also go in here, check the record card, make sure the information is correct in there, has the materials, the properties, everything about this document as a meeting, as a team. They're all in that one room looking at this together to save time, and perhaps they have, several different documents that they have to go through and different data forms that they need to all look at together, and it makes it a lot quicker in reviewing and passing or rejecting these documents. So when everybody is satisfied, they could go back here to the workflow and approve it. So they're approving it now as a group. And you can see that pass that on to the engineering manager, who could then again reject it or approve it. And we're just going to approve it to the end. And what we can see that did is it released this document, and it's no longer in the engineering change process, and it collected the signatures as it went through. It also created an event log file, so we can see everybody that's part of that parallel state, the quality group meeting, all signed off and were signed in. And so now everybody can see exactly what happened to this document, who approved it. It's all at their fingertips. All right, so that's a quick look at parallel workflows. And what we're going to do now is go back to the PowerPoint and wrap up this presentation. Thank you for your time. Just real quickly here to remember is that what we looked at today was configured to be that way by the administrator, and the MechWorks PDM tools allows the administrator to configure the workflows in a way that works for your organization. So obviously on that parallel workflow, we only had 3 departments, 3 people. It could be more than that. It could be less than that. You could have more than one state that is parallel. The workflows are totally configurable to meet the needs of your organization. So if you have any questions, please let us know. We would welcome the opportunity to provide a full product demonstration. This demonstration can be detailed to your organization's needs. You just need to give us a call at 1-800-573-6183, extension 701. Email us at sales@na-ips.com, or see us on the web at na-ips.com. So again, thank you for your time. This is Glenn, And until next time, goodbye.